Let's begin by going into Blackboard through the Fisher website. So let's click on Blackboard here. And then in this particular case, you want to enter your username and password that you use for your Fisher email. And what that will do is that will bring you into Blackboard. After you've logged on, you'll see the page where all your courses are listed. And in this particular case, we want to go over to My Courses, which is located on the right-hand side, and we want to access Intro to Digital Video Production, which is the second one, and you can see it has an announcement. So let's click on that. That brings us to what we call the What's New page for the course. And on What's New, you'll see that they have announcements. There's a welcoming announcement. It tells you what's new. For example, in this particular case, we have one announcement, 2 new assignments, 2 pieces of content, and one course organization piece of information. As the semester moves along, the calendar will fill out so that assignments, tests, and quizzes will be noted in the calendar for a period of the 7 days during the course of that week. Just below that, it's what to do, and it tells you what assignments are coming up. For example, if you have an assignment that's past due, or what assignments might be due that particular day, or even more important, what may be due this week. And if you click on that, you can see right now that there's 2 assignments due this week, and it lists them, and it lists the dates that they're due. On the left hand side, in this area here, this is called the content area, and there, if you click here, it has a section called Start Here. And if you take a look at that, it has all the material that you need in order to begin the class that you need to review in order to come up to speed to know what's going on. It will have an introduction from me, the instructor, some background information on me, a syllabus, items that you may need to acquire in order to complete the class, a camcorder contract. You have to download that and fill that out in order to be able to take equipment out. And there's a link here to course questions and answers. If you have some questions about the course, access that, put that down, and allow other people in the course to answer, be able to answer your questions. And within 48 hours, if you haven't had a sufficient answer, I'll respond to that. Also in the content area, you'll see weekly sessions. This is where the course material is located, and if we click on that now, we can see that there are 2 weeks that are available. Week 1, and if we access it, you can see at the beginning of it, it has a table of contents which lists all the material that we're going to be covering this particular week, and it will list the readings and any documents that you may need, along with assignments that you may have. For example, Learn a Questionnaire is an assignment, and you will need to complete that this particular week. If we go back and take a look just before weekly sessions rather, you'll see assignments. That's a folder that contains the assignments, and there's a reason for that. Assignments may go over a number of weeks, and you may forget whether it was in a week 4 or 5. If that happens, you can always access the assignments in the assignment folder. It will appear there at the same time as it appears in the weekly sessions. The same thing is true for your video projects. They will be listed in there. If for example, your final project will go over a period of several weeks, so if you need to refer to it and you can't remember which particular week it was involved in, you could refer to it again in video projects. Tests and quizzes. Tests and quizzes, for example, Learn a Questionnaire is there. It's available now. It was in week 1. It will appear there. So it appears both in week 1 and in the tests and quizzes. Same thing will be true with your midterm and your final exams. Midterm will appear in week 8. final exam will appear in week 13, but they'll also be available in this folder here on the side too. Announcements will appear in your weekly sessions too. However, if you need to refer to it later on, you can't remember which particular week it is, again, there's a folder on the side under course communications that will list all the announcements that went out. And right now there's just one, which is a welcoming statement, but you'll have other announcements that will come out over the period of time. If we begin discussions, at this particular time there's 2 discussions out. One that is a general course answers and questions discussion, and also an introduce yourself discussion that appears in week 1. It will appear in week 1. It will also appear in the discussion folder. Journal. Each one of you is responsible for writing in a journal. However, that will not appear in a weekly session. It will only appear in journals. And to do that, you access it through the journal folder here. Select Student Journal. And you can create a journal entry by clicking this here and entering in your responses. Each one of you is responsible for writing at least 1 journal entry a week from 50 to 100 words, and if you don't, you'll be marked off accordingly. These responses just occur between you, the student, and me, the instructor. No one else has access to them. So, additional information for you. The student resources. There are student tools here for you that you may be able to utilize. There's a section on academic integrity so that you know what you need to know so that you won't get caught up in inadvertent plagiarism. There's a statement here. You have to abide by it, and there's also information for you. There's also a section here for where to go for help as far as Blackboard, Collaborate, and an email. If you're having problems with that, there's the information that you can utilize to do that. Support links. There's also additional support if you're having some problems with Blackboard, the learning management system that we're working in. You can click here on the support links. It will bring you to the actual Blackboard site and has a number of wikis and information that you'll be able to use to help you move through the system. There's an on-demand center. Again, additional support for Blackboard. And there's some information on net etiquette. Rules of conduct on how you should conduct yourself while you're working online. There are certain things that are not acceptable, and we expect you to observe that. So, let's get back to the course. And so you see in week 1 we have an assignment for you. Introduce yourself and learn a questionnaire. There will be a quiz that will be issued right after this this week, and you'll have to take it. You'll have to pass it. It's a questionnaire on, actually it's a quiz on how to use Blackboard. So if you have any questions, you can ask me or refer to this video. So good luck, and get a score of 80 or better.